Okay, hello? Is this thing working? I tried lots of times. Okay, if this doesn't work, then that's okay. Now, this is Sarabande, or Saraban for Dead Lovers. It's a really, really good film. I really, really liked it. And there are some parts that are kind of cheesy and kind of like overacted and kind of whatever. Well, this is a movie from like the 30s or, well, 40s or something. Well, Raymond said that the real calendar says we're somewhere in the 1990s. Right. He said that the world's calendar year is wrong. So if we're still in the 1990s on the real calendar, then I guess this must be in the 20s then, the real date of when this movie was made. Right. Well, he said we are in the 1990s in the real, like, calendar. He said the world's calendar and the year all is like wrong dates. He said as well that the year is wrong. He said that we're in 1990s on the real calendar, and he said Second Coming will happen in the year 2000, which means, well, the calendar and the year is wrong too. So, anyway, this is Sarabande for Dead Lovers. And also, there's one scene that I thought was very, very interesting. So, this town, they're having a party or some weird ritual kind of thing that's doing bonfires. Everybody's like dressed in masks. It's this weird like eyes wide shut kind of thing. And I didn't even know there was going to be this kind of stuff in this movie. Like, it totally is like complete and utter brainwashing. Well, it's programming. This movie has lots of programming in it. And, right. And so, Sophia Dorothea, she finds this mask and she goes out to like this party for a while. And then she goes back inside and to the Count guy. Right, and they plan to escape. And that's basically the scene. Yes, but I was wondering, why would they need to include this? What was the point? Why? It never was like something that really happened that much in the original story. So I said, I think that they put this in for like brainwashing purposes. But it was this occultic, like esoteric kind of scene. Very similar to like the mask from Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah. Yeah, it's just very weird. It's just very weird. Very occultic, I said, the mask, I said it looks just like the one from Eyes Wide Shut. And is this like a coincidence? No, I think that they put this in on purpose. I said, I think, this movie, it has occultic, satanic stuff like this. And they're all, like, everybody is in these weird, like, animal masks and whatever, and bonfires. Okay, this is, like, occultic. And this is, like, satanic. This is, like, Eyes Wide Shut, like-ish. And I said, I didn't even expect this movie, this film, to have stuff like this. So even films from, like, the 40s have this, like, brainwashing in them. Okay. Like, super, like, Eyes Wide Shut, like, creepy, same, like, esque-ish. And anyway, now, there also is a scene where the Count dies. Let me see if I can find it. It's somewhere along here. Okay. Yeah. Now, Countess Platin, the one who killed Count, what's his name, Count Smarak, or, I don't know, what's his name, Count von Smarak, or Count von Smark, I think that was his name. Alright, the Swedish Count, I'll just call him the Swedish Count. that Dorothea, like, fell in love with. Okay, so Countess von Platen, or Countess Platen, she was the one that was, like, one of the mistresses of George the First. And she was, like, a pretty bitchy, scheming, conniving, like, pretty crazy lady. She was, like, just as crazy as Madame Montespan. In fact, well, she was even worse. At least Louis, like, he became a lot better, and he decided to get rid of her once he realized, oh yeah, she's bad. But I mean, oh yeah, this von Platen, or Platen woman, George never really got rid of her. And anyway, she hired this whole entire team of spies to, like, spy on the Count and Dorothea. And she did all sorts of other just crazy, like, maniacal things. She spied on people. She, like, you know, had, like, these weird, like, hitmen. It was, like, something out of, like, a fantasy movie. No, but this was real. But she actually, like, did this. And that was, like, the crazy, like, funny, like, entertaining thing. This lady, she was so full of herself that she actually went and she hired spies to spy on them because she was, like, jealous. And she literally, she, like, did all of this. Sorry, my phone is, okay, I don't know, what the hell. Whatever, anyway. She, like, did all of this. This lady, she did all of this. And I said she was just an absolute, just psycho crazy, like, crazy person. You know, she was just evil. And she was that, like, narcissistic and full of herself that she hired spies on people and hitmen. And she did all sorts of other crazy things. And she also was jealous of the Count. She fell in love with him as well. And she wanted him, like, for herself. But the thing is that, you know, he did not like her back. And so he did not, like, want her at all. And she, the, like, von Platen lady, she was, like, in super, like, rage and upset and angry. And she was like, well, if nobody can have him, then, you know, then I guess I can't have him either. Or something like that. You know? And she was, like, super jealous and enraged. And so she went and she, like, hired her group of spies to kill him. She killed him. Yes, she did this. The real, like, von Platen lady. Like, yes, she did. And also, I'm trying to think as well what I read up about them. Yes. And after that, Dorothea was, like, imprisoned. But anyway, she also, this von Platen lady, or Platen, right? She killed, like, this Count guy, right? Was it Consmark or Consmark? She killed him, I think, like, in another, like, different place. Or it was some other area. And it was, like, somewhere that was not really near, like, Sophia. And so Sophia, like, could not, like, even hear, like, what was happening. And so she was shocked to find out that he was, like, dead. And so it was, like, really, like, sick and disgusting. It's, like, Platen lady, she was, like, I don't know, like, a total movie villain, like, but in real life. She was, like, totally crazy. Okay. Alright. These weird advertisements or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna see if I can show this. Yeah, it's a scene where he dies.
Captain, where's the lantern? Let's have some light.
Yeah. It's not dramatic. The movie is really good. Now, I'm just gonna show you this. The phone is on the phone. Oof. Okay. Yeah, so I actually read about the Platten lady, that she actually did, like, stomp her foot on him, like, when he died. Yeah, I read that that was, like, a real historical account. She stomped her foot on him. Yeah, she actually, like, did that. That was, like, recorded. That was, like, something that she actually, like, did. And, well, they didn't, like, kill him, I think, in a place like this. I think in real life, I think it was inside a building, but I think what they did later, they had his body, and they tried to, like, hide it in, like, a river, or throw it in, like, a lake or something. I know that they tried to do that. And the Platten lady, she was, like, super, like, jealous and enraged, and, you know, she was jealous of, like, Sophia, when she was jealous as well that she couldn't have him. And she was super nutty. And she was, like, involved as well with, like, the hiding of the body. Yeah, just pretty, like, crazy people. Pretty nutty, crazy people. Yeah. The Platten lady, she was a pretty horrible person. She killed people, she had spies, she had, like, hitmen, she did all sorts of, like, movie villain kind of things in, like, real life. I mean, she was, like, totally monstrous, and, oh god, I can't even imagine, like, having someone like that as, like, my in-law. And Sophia Dorothea, right after this, she was, like, in prison for, like, 30 years, and then she died. I remember hearing about, like, before she died, she wrote, like, a last letter, as shown in the beginning of the movie, and George I, he, like, read it, and he was, like, terrified. 'Cause, like, George I, he went to a fortune teller, and one of the fortune tellers, like, one of these, like, psychics or witches, they told him that he would not live for much longer after his wife, like, after she died, he would die. Okay. Sorry. Something like that. Right? That he would die shortly after her. And so, he was, like, crazy, like, terrified, and he was like, oh my god. But, I mean, the prophecy came true, and he died, like, shortly after his wife's death. I think, like, a month or a few months, like, not even, like, a full year. Sophia died, and then he died, like, shortly after. So, the witches, or the psychics, like, thing, like, came true. It was, like, really weird and, like, bizarre. Oh, yeah. George I as well, he also was, like, talking to witches. He, like, had sorcerers and fortune tellers. And he was also talking to, like, witches. Yeah, he was just pure evil king. He was just pure psychopath. Anyway, he was just evil. Now, most kings and queens, I think, are evil and disgusting. But I do feel bad for Sophia Dorothea. And I feel, like, really bad for Marie Antoinette. those ones I honestly feel like a lot of sympathy for, and I really like kind of liked. I like Marie Antoinette. I like Sophia Dorothea. I mean, they were two women, and they are treated horribly by the society and abused and stuff as well, and well traumatized. And they, as well, what was it? Sophia was imprisoned. Well, both of them were imprisoned, actually, right? Marie Antoinette, she was imprisoned in like the Revolution, and she was forced to undergo like all these horrible like treatments. Well, yeah, I mean, she was like forced to sit in there, and it was what was it, in the summer, and later in October, but still, it would have been like, I don't know, 90 degrees, or probably pretty hot back then still, and forced to like sit in there, and they, as well, the guards had to watch her change, and it was all this like bizarre treatment, and she, as well, she wasn't even allowed to like pick out her own dress. I don't think she was, like, before she died. I think she was made to wear it like a chemise or something like that. But she wasn't really allowed to, like, pick out much of her clothing or anything like that anymore. It's pretty horrible. Oh, yeah. And Marie Antoinette as well. I mean, yeah, I feel bad for Marie Antoinette, and I feel bad for Sophia Dorothea. I said as well, they're treated poorly as well when they're growing up as well. By, well, their family. And Marie Antoinette as well, she was like shipped off to the country when she was like a very young girl and forced to undergo all this like court stuff, and forced to, as well, she had to have like braces to fix her teeth, and it was like super painful, and they made her undergo all these things just so she could go. And as well, I mean, she was like horribly treated by the populace. And do you remember as well the diamond necklace affair, which was when this like other lady, I don't know if I remember her name, I'll talk about her later, when this other lady, it was this necklace that belonged to the previous king's mistress, and this lady, she like tried to steal the necklace or do something like that, right? And they held this big trial, and Marie Antoinette, the public blamed her for what happened with the diamond necklace affair, and she was like super just hated, and everyone blamed her for it, and everybody hated her, even though she didn't even do anything. She did nothing, and they blamed her for every single thing that happened, and it just was terrible. Like, you know, and she didn't even do anything. I thought it was just, well, disgusting. Yeah. I just felt, like, horribly bad for her. And, like, Sophia Dorothea. Like, those are the ones I feel, like, sympathy for. I'm like, yeah. Like, it just is horrible how they were treated. And, well, Marie Antoinette as well was, like, a double whammy because, like, I don't think she could have been saved. Her whole entire situation, I think, was disastrous from start to finish. Like, I don't think that there was anything they could have done to change the revolution or anything. I think it was going to happen no matter, like, what. So I think that Marie Antoinette was, like, always sort of, like, well, I'm trying to pause, trying to think. She was always sort of, like, doomed. She was doomed. She was doomed, honestly. I always call her, like, the Doom Queen. She was, like, doomed to die, I think. I do not think she would have, like, lived for much longer anyways. Yeah. Or she would have been in prison for the rest of her life, like Sophia Dorothea. So, yeah, I feel bad for those two. Marie Antoinette and, like, the Sophia Dorothea. I feel bad for them. But I said I don't have much sympathy for the rest of, like, royalty or monarchs or, like, any of their other stories. Or even the other nobility. I don't really feel, like, much sympathy for them. But I do feel bad for, like, the Lamballe lady and, like, her inner circle of Marie Antoinette. It was just horrible what happened to them. Those people, they did not deserve the deaths that they had. You know, I don't care what they did. I don't care. It's like horrible how they died. And as well, the Duchess de Polignac. right, that lady, she seemed like really cool, and they said she was very nice and like live-spirited, and she had a very like fun kind of attitude, and they said that she was always happy to be around, and she was like that one friend you'd always want to have to be with you, and the one friend who'd always be there for you. She was like that. You know, she was a really good friend. And the Polignac lady, oh yeah, they said she was like super heartbroken over like Marie Antoinette and the other people's death, and she thought the revolution was like terrible. Well, the revolution, what was terrible? I mean, they massacred, they guillotined thousands of innocent people who did nothing wrong, and it's what Robespierre, this like tyrant, well, he was a tyrant. What did he do? He killed thousands of people because they did not like his regime, and anybody who did not like the revolutionary government, they would just kill you, okay? And anyway, it was just evil. Yes, I agree. The revolution was evil. Now, I agree with, like, you know, they wanted more of a democracy and that kind of thing. They wanted to be more free, but that was not the way to do it. Not to kill people and go crazy and do all those things. And what they did to Lamballe, they put her head on a pike, and Marie Antoinette saw it, and she freaked out, and she, like, fainted. Okay, that is not something, I mean, that is, like, to be proud of. It's horrible. The French Revolution was horrible. Okay, you know. Now, the other revolutions, now, some of them were peaceful, like the American. I think those ones are all right. But the French is, like, not how you should do a revolution at all. Look what they did as well. Look at all those thousands of people that, you know, died. And also, what was the other queen's mistress? I'm trying to think of her. No, the king's mistress. What was her name? Madame du Barry. Madame du Barry. Well, she also was executed. She was executed, and she didn't even do anything. This poor lady. And when they executed her, you can read it. Yes, you can look this up. Yes, it's true. She was crying and screaming, and she was in terror. And this lady, this poor lady, Madame du Barry, I don't care what she did not deserve to die like that. And she was screaming and crying when she died, they said. The witnesses, they said that she was crying, and her last words were like to give her like one more moment. And it's horrible. It's horrible. I was like reading that, I was like, oh my god, that's just horrible. No, they did not even allow her to give like one last moment or any breath to her friends or to family, you know, or say goodbye to her family. They instantly just like executed her. And she was like screaming and crying, and she was like, oh my god, just please let me see my friends and family, give me like one last moment. And that was like her last words. And I was like, that is horrible. It's literally, it's just terrible. Like, yeah, it just is horrible, like what they did. And that lady, she did not even deserve that. You know, the Du Barry lady, she did not deserve any of that. Just as horrible what they did to her. Like, that was beyond, like, cruel. It's just cruel. It's cruel. It's, like, heartless. What they did to her was completely, like, heartless. Sorry, I'm just ranting a bit because, yeah, I read about that as well, and I thought that was just so, like, heartless, like, what they did. Anyway, Raymond said as well, it's going to get much worse. He said that soon, at the time of the end, which is very soon, they're going to bring back slavery. And he said, well, the Christians, well, using the Torah. Sorry, they will use the Torah to bring back slavery, is what he said of, like, the black people. And he also said they are going to bring back slavery soon, and they are also going to bring back beheadings. He said it's going to be like the French Revolution, but it's going to be, like, worse, like, soon. So, like, that's really scary. That's, like, sorry. I'm trying to take some breaths. I did, like, some things, and I'm a little bit out of it. Well, I'm a little bit out of breath. Anyway, but trying to say, yeah, it just is terrible. He said it's going to be like the French Revolution soon, but worse. And they also are going to bring back slavery, he said, soon. And soon he said they're also going to bring back beheadings. And he said it's going to be, like, really evil. So, yeah. It's just really... Yeah, he said it's going to be, like, much worse. Not just thousands. They're going to, like, execute, like, billions of people soon. Billions of people who, like, do not agree with the Antichrist and stuff. It just sounds really scary to me. So, it'll be like the French Revolution, but it'll be like, I don't know, 10 times, 100 times worse. And it won't just be in France. It will be like all over the world.